Hey guys, it's Coaster Nerd Weekly, and in today's video, since it is now spooky season, I decided to review Spooky Coaster, Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. Mystic Timbers is located in the Rivertown section of Kings Island, a park in Mason, Ohio. It opened in 2017, and is the second newest coaster in the park, with Orion being the newest. Now let's talk about the stats. Mystic Timbers is a Great Coasters International wooden coaster. It has a height of 109 feet, top speed of 53 miles per hour, a length of 3,265 feet, and 16 airtime moments. I think that these stats are pretty good for a wooden coaster, especially the airtime moments. Now let's talk about the ride experience. Mystic Timbers starts with a slow turn out of the station, into a little dip which leads you into the lift hill. The lift hill has audio playing as you rise to the top, but I'll get to that later. After you climb to the top of the lift hill, you go down the twisted drop. This is pretty much the only element that varies by row on this coaster, with not much happening in the front rows, but the back rows giving great laterals and airtime. Next you step up into an airtime moment, giving great airtime across the train, and dive out of it, also giving great airtime. Next up you do a bunch of twisty airtime pops and big turns, which either don't have element names or have really obscure element names. This section of the ride feels extremely out of control and chaotic, in a good way, giving great pops of airtime and laterals. You then take a big 90-degree turn through a tunnel, giving a great sustained lateral move, and if you didn't know, I love tunnels. After this, you do another section of crazy twists and airtime pops, kind of like the first one, with one more drawn out and sustained airtime in the middle of it. Once again, this section gives a lot of great airtime pops and bursts of lateral movements. After this, you pop up into the brakes, where you enter the shed. After the shed show moment, which I'll talk about later, you go back into the station, ending your ride on Mystic Timbers. Now let's talk about the theming. Mystic Timbers has a good amount of theming, which has been a recent trend in the Cedar Fair train recently. Theming starts outside the queue, with the general area being covered in vines, a truck parked near the entrance, as well as an entrance sign and some audio playing. The theming in the queue is okay, with a lot of posters placed throughout. The station, however, has a lot of great theming, with a lot of props placed about. There's also a soundtrack made by I'm a Score playing in the queue, which is also the music playing in the background of this video, and I'll link it in the description. Mystic Timbers has a very large storyline that is very complicated and I won't be able to cover it in this video, but I can give a summary of it. Basically, there's a lumber company called Miami River Lumber Company, and there have been some strange things going on in the woods area. I'm still not completely sure how in the story, but we find ourselves in this forest, and we drive around in our truck, aka the ride vehicle, through the forest. Going up the lift hill, there's an audio cue telling us that we are trespassing, and to not go in the shed. However, whoever is driving the truck is being stupid, and we find ourselves in the shed. Now for some reason, if you still have not had the shed spoiled to you already on social media and don't want spoilers, skip to the time shown on the screen. Before entering the shed, there's an audio cue telling you once again to not go in the shed.
Don't go in the shed.
But we do anyway. Inside the shed, there are a lot of props, and the words "It's in the shed" is written all over the walls. A glitchy radio starts playing, which will play a selection of these 6 songs. But the main theming element is the big screen in front of you, where a CGI jump scare will play. There are 3 different jump scares you can get. The most common, a flurry of bats accompanied by a giant bat. The second most common, a giant snake. And the rarest, a giant sentient tree, which is the mascot of the ride. This is where the theming ends. Overall, the theming in the station and the queue is pretty good, but the theming in the shed is really good and underrated in my opinion. Mystic Timbers is an amazing, out-of-control, crazy ride experience, with some good theming and a cool storyline, and in my opinion is the 3rd best coaster in the park. Which isn't a bad thing, because Kings Island is full of amazing rides. If I could say one complaint about this ride, it would be that it feels a bit short, but that's because of how good the pacing is and how fast it makes it through the layout. The only other complaint I could say is that sometimes the airtime will feel a bit weak, but that depends on how good their coasters run. So for Mystic Timbers' final score, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. This coaster is one of the craziest ride experiences out there, and it's a must-do when visiting Kings Island. Thanks for watching my review of Mystic Timbers. If you made it all the way to the end, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, as I plan on making more coaster reviews, and your support really helps a bunch. I'll see you guys next time on Coaster Nerd Weekly.